Alrighty, so this is the quarterfinal of the EMEA Masters between Los Ratones versus SUP from Turkey. I think it's Supermassive. I'm gonna double check that. I want to make sure I get that correct because otherwise it's gonna be embarrassing for the rest of the series. It is Papara Supermassive. I just call him Supermassive. And I got the wrong team there too in the title. I'll fix that, don't worry. I lied. Thank you for fact checking me. Alright. So what, I recognize Armor, actually. I don't know where from, but I definitely recognize him in some of the gameplay. Was he used to be on LEC, didn't he, or something? Anyway, bans, Varus ban. Cyan and Gragas have been banned, targeting Baus. That's not too surprising. Corki being taken. This Maokai on Rats has been high priority for every single game. I think they've wanted to have Valio been playing the Maokai. Oh, he used to play for Mad. Ah, okay. Thank you for the knowledge. Sejuani taken for for Supermassive. Let's see how they answer. So you've got the Corki could be flexed mid or into the AD carry. The Azir taken up. We've seen some really good Azir gameplay already in this competition, so we're going to be seeing Nemesis on that. Now, what are they going to be taking here now, though? Is there any priority picks here? Do we need to take something for Baus? Blind picking maybe for top side? Could be an option. Nope, it's a safety net again of the Ezreal. We've seen a lot of Ezreal being played also by Crowny. Could end up seeing a Brom ban, I'm assuming. They like to do the Ezreal Brom. Jack's been taken out for Supermassive, which means Baus could end up getting targeted quite a lot here. We've got the Poppy ban coming through to try and counter the Jax. I think Baus did that in a previous game where they had a Jax top and he used the Poppy. I think that was against Carmine Corp, I think, where they had Jax top and Baus played Poppy. Didn't work out well. Silas being banned away, so I guess they are maybe concerned that they're going to be using that Corki as a pick for the bot lane rather than the mid lane. Surprisingly, no supports have been banned. We've been seeing in the last bunch of games that support bans have been pretty heavy. Not a single support ban. I was expecting maybe to see a Brom ban, to not necessarily see a link up with the Ezreal. We'll see what happens here. And we will be in Supermassive, we will get first pick though, so they might take the Brom away here. They're going to also be banned, so they are fairly confident that this Corki is going to be AD carry. So we're expecting potentially mid lane and support picks here for Supermassive. A LeBlanc. I don't think we've seen a LeBlanc yet. No, that hasn't been picked yet at all in the whole of EMEA. I'm expecting a Brom pick here to link up with the Ezreal. They've been liking doing that. And then you got to pick something for top, and then it could be anything top. Just something that Baus can play well. Into a Jax. Gragas has already been banned, so that's not an option. Garen. Okay. Sure, whatever works for Baus. And I'm expecting a Brom pick here, but they don't have the most amount of things for Brom to block. Got good synergy with the Brom passive with the Ezreal, but I mean, apart from like Corki and maybe like, there isn't actually much to block there at all, to be honest. The Brom pick may not actually come through, but I mean, what else are you going to play? We've seen Records play Ral, Lulu. There's a Rakan hover. Yeah, okay. It makes sense. If they had maybe more projectile damage, I could see the Brom wall being used here with the link up with the Ezreal. I'm sure it's probably discussed. And then, yeah, the Nautilus pick here. I don't think the Nautilus is that big of an issue for Rakan. If he gets hooked, he's going to be on, you know, it's going to take a little bit of burst there, but he can escape pretty easily with the Ez. He got kind of 2 dashes on the bot side. Engage wise, you've got Malka ulti, Azir ulti, Rakan engage. On the flip side of for Supermassive, you've got Nautilus ulti and Sejuani ulti. So you got better engage potential, I'd say, from Rats. I'd say Supermassive's mid game is probably better. But if the game starts going on a little bit, Rats will have the upper hand. And we've seen that a lot from the Rats drafts as well, that they try and play for like that 35-minute mark, I'd say. And that's where their team comp really starts to shine. Drag out those games as long as possible. Do they have enough wave clear, though, to drag out the game as long as possible, though? They don't have something like a Sivir to delay the waves. Azir's wave clear is okay. He's allowed to do the Azir soldiers onto them, but yeah, I think they might be able to hold out and be okay. I don't think the Jax is too much of a threat here. I think it's just going to come down to early mid game for Supermassive. How much roaming can they do? How much can they utilize that LeBlanc to make picks in the mid game? And how much control can they take of the game? If they're unable to do that, Rat should have an easy first win here. But yeah, it's going to come a lot down to this mid game. For sure. Going straight into game number 1 here. No technical issues. Would like to see that. Any level 1 posturing. Doesn't look like it. Got Rakan with this summoner heal. Nautilus has Ignite. So they're really wanting to try and get something down here. One thing I will say though is Rakan is quite squishy early on. Is that Rakan running Demolish? Okay. Did that Jax just get +1 gold for fishing? Am I going crazy? I'm pretty sure he got a 1 gold from the river, right? Am I going crazy? I didn't know Jax could do that. Fish for gold. Okay. Wow. That's crazy. I did not know that was a thing at all. Jax already taking 50 damage up there in the top side. So we've already got wards going down, and that's a good clear out. We haven't really seen that much at all in the level 1 of supports taking oracles early and clearing out those wards. That's definitely a new little change up that they've done, Rats. But I'm expecting the Corki Nautilus to have a little bit of priority early. Corki's burst damage early is quite rough. But if the Rakan can play safe enough, he should always have a way to get out, even if he does get caught. This wave state is kind of a bit of a problem. Ezra does not have Arcane Shift at level 1. He's already taking a lot of damage here, down to 40% HP. Corki also at 50, but I think Supermassive definitely have the control down here. Garen's spinning away. Double spin lane in the top lane. Be interesting to see if Baus can prevent dying early on. It seems pretty consistent that he dies early. But as he says, it's always a good death, right? Baus refused to take HP pot. Oh yeah, I didn't see that. Okay, cool. Saving the 50 gold to make up for the Jax fishing. Got a jungle invade coming in from Supermassive onto the blue buff. LeBlanc is moving over and Azir doesn't have priority. Even Jax is moving down as well. This Maokai might end up getting caught out. Ward hop used over by the Jax smites used on the blue buff to take that away, and that's going to leave Maokai without a blue buff for the first part of this game. Good coordinated invade there, and that's what we kind of mentioned earlier. They got all their chips in late game, Rats, team comp, and mid game, early mid game is going to be pretty difficult for them to try and survive, but if they are able to survive, good Arcane Shift away. Then that's where they'll start to shine. LeBlanc going for an Electrocute trade proc there. Nothing too crazy going out at the moment. The Scuttle fight looks like it's coming down. Garen is trying to push in the wave here. Maokai forced to flash away. A little bit surprised Maokai is still playing over for the top Scuttle after the invade. Surprised he didn't just go straight down to the bottom Scuttle though. There is KFC camp going to be open, but it could end up being double Scuttle for Supermassive. Gold difference still on par with each other, but you can definitely feel the What? Rakan is down here by himself? He has no one to E2. He has flash. He's going to have to potentially flash away here. Not sure what that was about. Not sure why Rakan was left by himself there. It will mean that Rakan has no flash. He has no Hextech flash. It's going to mean that engaging... I mean, he hasn't got his ulti yet, so... I don't think they're going to be looking for any engage anyway at this point in the game, but it will make a potential roam gank a lot harder without Rakan having the flash available to him. Teleport coming through, that's the first teleport of the game. The LeBlanc using that. She's probably going to try and dash in and poke the Azir here. Wave slowly building up here. And actually keep proccing off again. Azir should be able to come back to a nice wave here. This isn't going to be too bad for him. Baus doing his good old proxy, Nautilus landing the hook there. There's no one really close nearby just yet, but I'm expecting Baus to die here still. Although no one is actually... I mean, Nautilus is looking to chase him a little bit. Jax isn't really interested. LeBlanc isn't moving from mid, so Sejuani's still coming from base. Garen giving the Nautilus the little slip there. And he gets away in the brush here potentially. Sejuani is about to go into that brush, but I think Garen's just about got away in time. Okay, good recall there from the Garen. The Garen also has teleport, so he's going to enter up the top and he's not going to miss anything there. Nautilus' time kind of got used up a little bit there. Rat should be aware that Nautilus is top side right now. Rakan is still bot. And I think Rats know that they can't fight an early fight here. Looks like they're going to get Grubs potentially uncontested here. Garen is pushing in top wave right now, but this mid lane struggle is a bit bothersome early for this Azir. He can't get priority in lane, and it's going to make it difficult to contest over Grubs and the Dragon. But Grubs have been started anyway. Jax is TPing up to top, and I think they're just going to happily concede this because, like, if you look at the Azir's HP, he's quite low in health here. Shuffle being used doesn't actually connect onto the LeBlanc. If that did, that would have been a tower shot over. But LeBlanc is running out of mana. I don't think... Unless he's worried about Sejuani or Nautilus being in a brush nearby. LeBlanc doesn't really have enough mana right now to kill him. But nonetheless, Azir goes back. So Rakan was definitely not interested in making any movement there for the roam. The plus side for him though, for doing that, does mean that he gets level 6 a bit quicker than the Nautilus. But the downside is that Corki also got solar XP, so he's level 6. But Corki level 6 isn't a massive deal. Oh, is Maokai going to go out? He hasn't got flash. He used that earlier on. The LeBlanc chain's locking him down, and that's going to be a very easy kill there onto the Maokai. Looks like a bit of miscommunication there. Not really much bot prior there. Mid still pushed in. This is what I mean. Without the mid priority being constantly shoved in there, looks like Azir interrupted the LeBlanc's recall. Ezreal getting caught there by the hook, but he shifts away. It's not a big problem. The Azir's wasting LeBlanc's time here. If he had known where the Sejuani was, I'm sure he would have pursued that more. But LeBlanc is losing a few resources here, even though she did get the kill onto the Maokai. And that's the person that you don't want to give a kill over to their team. Getting that LeBlanc ramping up, it's going to give them a very difficult mid-game. I'm sure this Rakan's about to hit 6 soon, but yes, lots of little mistakes here. Rakan just hit 6. Is he going to cancel that in? No. Very, very defensive kind of gameplay here from Rats. Ezreal's even running a Cole. You got a Cole and the Garen as well. They're just praying, really, for the first 20 minutes of this game that they don't lose too much. This game already, we're seeing Rats already like burn through flashes. And there's another one. We've even got flashes left still. Rakan's flash is coming back up soon. Maokai's is now back up. And so is Azir's and Ezreal's. But we haven't really seen anyone in Supermassive have to flash at all yet. 400 gold lead to Supermassive. And up on those 2 objectives as well, both getting the 3 grubs and the Dragon. Grubs aren't up for another Minute and a half still. Dragon's not up for another 3.5. I'm just wondering if Supermassive could have maybe tried to bully the Maokai more into the jungle, use that Nautilus and a LeBlanc to roam into for the blue top side. I felt like that was probably an opportunity there to set up for that again and just deny Maokai another blue buff. Because if you're Supermassive, you're going to try and want to force as many fights as you can, especially with this LeBlanc having a kill early on. It's like Baus is being engaged on. Remember, Garen doesn't have flash. Stun coming through, layering over with Sejuani ulti. Garen's just going to go for the wave clear here. He will go down, but he's just trying to kill as many minions as possible before he dies. It's an easy pick up there. Unfortunately, the Maokai's just not able to do anything, really. Zero control over the map. I don't think he's ganked any lane here either. He's just kind of struggling. Shuffle coming over to the Maokai. LeBlanc gets a W over into the opposite direction to Maokai, and there's no real threat there. Maybe if Maokai went the other direction with Rakan coming from the other side, they would have found an angle there to lock down the LeBlanc, but I think Maokai really probably needed to engage from the top side of the river to make something happen there. And LeBlanc still didn't even use her flash. Does mean that, you know, mid lane is back to neutral state instead of into the priority, but once again, people in Supermassive are not having to use their summoners, and there's another 3-man gank now happening on the top side. Bowser still has no flash, trying to get away. He's going to get locked up here, and it's going to be another kill over. It's not looking great now for Rats. This could be 6 grubs here, but the whole team from Rats is now up here looking to fight this. There is no shuffle on the Azir available. Okay, they do deny 1 grub, so that means that they won't get 6 grubs Supermassive. Garen is now teleporting bot to cover LeBlanc pushing in bot side. Question is, are they going to want to fight this in a 4v4 situation? It looks like it's not. They're happy to just deny them having all 6 grubs, which I think is pretty important. Also delays the boots a little bit too, because they also got 3 kills. Sejuani's now moving up into top side. You have flashes available here for Rats. Is Sejuani going to pull the trigger here? There's a Rakan engaged. They want this fight. The Rakan's completely locked up, and that's one of the downsides. He's really squishy at this point in the game. I don't know if Ezra can get away here. It's a flash, an arcane shift, and it's still not enough. Maokai ulti locking down a couple of people. Azir's thinking about joining this fight, but it is a triple kill for Corki. Lots of really bad decision making actually from Rats here. I mean, this is what happens if you're going to draft yourself like a really late game. You got to try and play as passively as possible. And I think Rakan going in there with no vision in the river, when you kind of want to play as passive as possible. Unfortunately, that one is all on Rakan, that engage. Forcing something. But realistically, I don't think they're even going to get a kill there. I think they're just maybe looking for like a little bit of poke and then get out, but it ended up being a full-on fight. I don't think they needed to make that full-on fight. LeBlanc is just easily coming up here. I don't think she has to worry about either of these two. I'm pretty sure she can handle this lane 1v2. $3,000 gold lead at 13 minutes. You've got Dragon number 2 now coming for Supermassive, and if you're Supermassive, you're really happy with this massive gold lead. You're going to be 2 dragons up very early on. You're looking at around a 23-24 minute 4th dragon potentially here. Stops any potential of getting around to that 30-35 minute mark that Rats really wants to get to in order to use their team. 1.5k gold difference between the AD carries right now. The only hope right now really is the Azir matching even gold on the Azir with the most CS in the game. Actually, not even the most CS in the game. The Corki has the most. Still waiting for that call to activate also for the Garen. Yeah, this Garen is not able to contest at all with this Jax. Garen's choosing to stay instead of recalling. I mean, the Jax could, in theory, ignore the Garen a little bit here. This demolish hit is what he's looking for here. Okay, pretty easy wave clear there for the Garen. A little bit of taunting there from the Jax. This will be a turret though, going over to Supermassive. That's the first turret of the game. Yeah, it's looking really dire. I mean, for Rats, you gotta try and find a pick somewhere. This Azir pick is your main hope. LeBlanc's already going to 50% HP. Chain does lock down the Azir. It's a fairly even trade there. I think Azir was looking for it because he hit level 11 to the LeBlanc's level 10. Both of these mid laners have Merc Treads. Trying to nullify any bit of burst there and any crowd control landing on them. You do have almost every flash available now for Rats apart from on Ezreal. Almost every flash also available to Supermassive apart from the Sejuani. But here you got the Herald spawning in 30 seconds. I don't think Rats can posture for it. They're getting some wave clearing in right now, but Supermassive have full control of this game. Garen is now entering into proxy mode. You can see him going all the way into tier 3. He's now recalling then. No, he's not. He's going to stay for the next wave. I think he's hoping to try and distract some of Supermassive to answer that in order to... for Rats to be able to get Herald potentially. But they're not falling for it. Supermassive Jax is now just doing the same thing, proxying on the other side. Both of these top laners have teleport. Garen is now making his way up to Herald, but I feel like if they fight this, it's going to be an absolute disaster. Like Corki with a triple kill earlier on. Norse's ulti and Sejuani ulti using the Maokai. They're trying to re-engage here. Maokai actually survives. Maokai ulti goes down. LeBlanc finds the Maokai and he's dead. Shuffle comes on and hits 3 people, but there's just not enough damage there. Nautilus is on very, very low HP. Ezra ulti coming through doesn't get through to the Nautilus shield. Ends up being... oh, LeBlanc ended up dying there. I didn't even see that. I know she dove in really hard to kill the Maokai, but the fact that Rats actually got a 1-for-1 there, I'd say is a good win for Rats. It was a Garen flash shot. Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, just a little bit of damage lacking. You don't have like the man immune still on the Ezreal, so his damage is still kind of lacking until that point really. If you had the man immune then, I think the Nautilus would have died. But yeah, the LeBlanc went super hard for that. That's the kind of fights that Rats want. If they can scrap out a 1-for-1 like this for the next 10 minutes, that's a huge win for them. If they're able to keep doing that, that is. Got Dragon spawning in 50 seconds, and you still have a lot of players here looking at this Herald. If Rats are able to deny this next Dragon coming up, that would be a massive bonus to them in terms of delaying the game. They're going to lose this tier 1 mid though, by the looks of it. That's going to make it very difficult to start defending those objectives. Rats are still yet to take a single structure. Looks like they're trying to find out LeBlanc here. LeBlanc is going to hit a sapling. Records did go over the wall there, but the LeBlanc hasn't got a W. I think this LeBlanc is kind of trapped here, but... Maokai ult's being used to clone. Blocks though. Twisted Advance goes through. LeBlanc tries to dash away. The damage eventually goes down. Unfortunately, Rakan does pick up the kill. Corki is now bashing on. Maokai is going to fall here. That's going to be another kill over to Corki. Shuffle goes over to 2, but Azir is going to go down. It's going to put Corki into 5 kills. Can Rakan make it out? Rakan makes it out. Sejuani ulti is used. Jax is coming up from bot side river into mid lane. I don't think the Jax can necessarily make it here in time though. Jax does have flash. Is he going to whirl up? Okay. They got a massive problem with that 5-0 Corki. The Rats need to figure out a way to lock down that problem. They spent way too long killing the LeBlanc, and then Rakan was the one that got the kill. That is rough. You got Rakan with 50% of the kills on your team and 20 minutes into the game. It's like one of my solo queue games. You have Dragon number 3 up, and Supermassive have already started it. I don't think Rats can look to fight for that. Maokai doesn't have his ulti. There's no vision anywhere in the area either. Rakan spent that whole time on top side, so there's no vision from Rakan and the bot side of the map. Not really sure what the objective was there to killing the LeBlanc. It's like, okay, if you kill the LeBlanc, but then you lost all bot side control, you're going to lose the tier 1 turret, you're going to lose the dragon. So not really fully sure what that was for. Constellation price finally low for Rats is a Herald. They're going to need to use that to get some objectives. The bonus objectives are now up because they're now so far behind in gold. So maybe if they can use that for a tower, that will claw them back in slowly. But how much of the gold deficit is going to be too much for this team composition? Might already be there with the 5-0 Corki. But there is one tower claimed. That does shift some gold back, and that stuns the objective bounties off straight away. But the big thing is, though, is the 3 dragons on Supermassive. Rats can't avoid a teamfight at the bot side river anymore. Supermassive can willingly give up a dragon or 2 for, you know, the Attican, a Baron buff. Rats have to fight for every single dragon, and it's an Ocean Soul as well. Massive prediction there from the Sejuani ulti. That was absolutely fantastic. Rakan trying to disengage that with his own ult. Amazingly, Ezreal does survive. Garen TP's in. Does some spinny, but that Corki damage is absolutely absurd. Rakan also using his heal there. Not fully sure why, but he panic uses it, I guess. Yeah, this Corki is an absolute monster. He's about to hit 3 items. And that Sejuani ult flick predict. It's pretty good. But there is a Sejuani ulti down. It's a little bit less team fighting pressure for Supermassive for the next minute. Doesn't look like either team are going to be playing for Attican just yet. You got LeBlanc looking for picks in the bot side jungle right now, but waiting for someone to phase check there. You got Ezreal right there quite deep in mid by himself with LeBlanc on the flank. LeBlanc coming through over now. Ezreal has no flash. Ezreal has no way out. There's Nautilus ulti goes over, and that's going to be another kill for the Corki. 10 kills over to Supermassive right now. 3.2k lead. Rats have no AD carry. This Attican looks like it's going to be uncontested. Best thing Rats can do right now is get tier 1 bot turret. Gotta give credit to Supermassive here. They've made very few mistakes here already. Rats are definitely by far making a lot of mistakes. You could argue that it's probably to do with the draft as well. As we mentioned, it's very late game focused. If thinking of your Rats, what are you going to be doing in order to stay into this game? You're going to have to get that shutdown on the Corki. It's worth 634 gold plus the 300 gold. If they can get that over to the Ezra or the Azir, that's their best chance to bouncing back into this game. I think this dragon is just going to have to be a full commit onto that Corki somehow. That Corki has every single summon available. In fact, Supermassive have every single summon available to them. They even have Jax has TP up and Garen does not, so they can easily do a macro play there too. The whole of Rats are now grouping up for this dragon. They cannot afford to give Supermassive an Ocean Soul here. Sapling's doing an okay job, just able to check the brushes. Make sure they're not having to face check here. Mid lane priority trying to be obtained, but Jesus. One Corki ult rocket into Israel's face chunks him for 15% of his HP. But Garen is now topside, which I'm not sure is the right macro decision because this Garen does not have teleport. Supermassive know that and they're already starting the engage. So Sejuani is yet to pull her ulti. Ezreal ulti connects onto a couple, but it doesn't really do that much damage yet. We've got Baus and Armut fighting in the top side of the map. Garen has been chased down by the Jax. I think the Garen will potentially die here unless he's able to get out, but that's a 30% health Garen that needs to reset. Without teleport as well. Whereas Jax could just recall here and teleport back into the game. Dragon is now up, TP coming through the LeBlanc now. Herald has been popped for Rats from mid lane. Maokai already going down to 40% HP with just a few like little dots. Sejuani ulti connects into the Maokai. Maokai forced to flash away. Ezreal is now being engaged on. Got Garen in the backline spinning on Corki. Corki's getting low. Garen ulti tried to be cast off there, but it didn't go off. I don't think it would have killed the Corki either. Garen doing his best to try and 1v1 the Corki, and it did not work. But Nautilus is dead too. Are they going to try and flip it? I think they have no choice. I think Maokai has to try and go for something here. Maokai's already getting locked up in core. He's all alone here at the back. If Maokai goes down, they won't have a smite. Good shuffle. LeBlanc clone does die, but the Maokai can't get into the pit quick enough, so it means that Supermassive pick up Ocean Soul. Can Rats get a couple of kills here while Supermassive are kind of on the wrong side of the map? They're on the Rat side of the base right now. Big 4-man stun coming from the Jax. That is absolutely decimated. Nemesis is alive. Can he get any kills here before he falls down? No. That was amazing engage there from Jax. 4-man flash stun. Picks himself up a triple kill there. Maybe a quadra kill here. They're going to try and let Jax have the quadra, I think. Rakan just wasting time. No quadra kill for the Jax, but... yeah, that was a massive stun. That's going to be Baron also over to Supermassive. Garen is now bot side. Gotta give credit to Supermassive. They're outplaying Rats in literally every single element of this game, from macro to mechanics. Very little to fault from Supermassive, honestly. They've almost made it look too easy. Got LeBlanc chasing down the Garen there. Garen's just trying to waste some Baron time here. Got Oblivion Orb now picked up on the Azir. That's the only form of anti-heal that Rats have for this Ocean Soul. Still a deathless 7-0 Corki. I mean, we saw Garen earlier on try and 1v1 the Corki. I mean, that's what they had to do. They had to try and kill the Corki, but only Garen was full committing onto that. Nobody else could follow up. Tier 2 being pressured here by Supermassive. Garen spinning in and not doing a whole lot. He's getting chained up. Sejuani ulti being thrown over and he's falling down super fast. Azir getting knocked up by the Nautilus ulti. Rakan has just got absolutely shredded. Corki going to be on 9 kills now. Supermassive leading the way, and I don't think there's much else here that Rats can do here now. They have absolutely no frontline. This Maokai is not going to be providing any of that. This inhib is 100% going down, and I think they're going to be looking for the end. Honestly, a massive horror game here from Rats in their first one. It's a best of 5 still, though, so they can still recuperate. Big Maokai route there, but absolutely nothing to follow up with here. Azir's on 10% HP. This Nexus is going to fall. That's going to be GG Supermassive 1-0. That was a stomp. And yeah, going to be absolutely blunt. That was an absolute stomp. Yeah, that wasn't even remotely close. Every single part of that, of every individual there, I think on Rats got outperformed. Yeah, back to the drawing board, I think. As I said before in Rats' previous games, I wasn't impressed much with the Ezreal. I think they played okay with it yesterday, but I think the Ezreal pick overall hasn't been fantastic. The Maokai picks also has been kind of iffy, and also you got Baus there showing the cracks as well in his 1v1s. finding it very difficult to handle a lot of the top laners in 1v1 situations. You can do generally good things in team fights with mechanics, but Garen doesn't really offer anything in terms of mechanics, really. It's just Unga Bunga has to storm onto the Corki and just try and find something, and he wasn't able to. But yeah, getting punished for picking a late game draft. Supermassive go 1-0.